familiar with these days, and some of our tasks have been around the CFAR. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ty to kind of walk through these items and train us, and Mike as well. So welcome, Ty. What would you like to start with?
So what we want to do is always know what the type of we carry. So I would employ everybody to go out to the travel insurance center site so you can see the types of plans, the products that we carry, because those are the ones that we focus on. The types of plans that we have that are trip protection, travel medical, and there's a whole host of different types of other specialty types of plans that include, emergency evacuation, adventure. We even have a plan that does deal with war risk when you're going to different war risk places, whether you're in any capacity of sports or something of that nature. But the basic plans that we carry on our system pretty much cover the gambit of all the different types of protection, travel, medical that we like to carry for our customers. So starting with just the trip protection, that usually is a plan that just what it means. It protects you from your trip. It usually comes in the form of trip cancellation or, the different types of coverage add-ons that they have that can relate to your trip that can affect the fact that you might need to have trip protection. It could be weddings, it could be reunions, it could be anything that you're doing that you wanted to have trip protection. And it comes in the form of what we were discussing earlier in all of our training is about cancel for any reason. Most of the companies carry those products, and it assists you with anything from your job or some personal reason that could prevent you from taking your trip, flights, or your lodging. And then we tend to carry products also that kind of cover you on the medical side as well, like IMG. So you get sick overseas or you need emergency evacuation, these plans will be the ones that you would pretty much quote and purchase for your trip. And then we break them out into different other plans, like on our site, what we have emergency medical evacuation, and that could be in addition to the travel medical. We also have what's called accidental death and dismemberment plans, which could happen anything that you have an accident where and something happens to you, you lose a limb. We have protections for those types of plans. And then we have global risk plans that we have a few, like for the defense industry, things like that. You're probably familiar with working with creative services on those applications. And then we start getting into group plans where Travel Insurance Israel really focuses on those types of plans because they have a lot of people that are coming to the US from Israel. And so we have plans that Travel X Select or Travel Insured, which will give them the type of coverage for those types of groups. And then we have annual plans, which people like the barge lady will purchase once a year just to cover her trips and her users. So there's a whole host of plans that they have their own different characteristics, but the best way to learn about them is to go out to our site and just poke around and read a lot of the content that Dan and it's pretty standard in the industry with travel medical pretty entails, but it's broken down based on the different coverages. You could have coverage that has your baggage and any host of things that you could probably experience while you're on a trip. So we pretty much go through those, and then the types of coverages, these are what we call are pretty much add-ons. These are pretty much geared by the companies, the carriers. Some of them have adventure, some of them just have rental car, and then majority of them, what they have been experiencing recently since the coronavirus is that cancel for any reason, they've pretty much taken it out of all the different plans except New York. The governor had requested that they put that plan back in, that option of coverage for people But all the other states, we've made changes. Mike can talk to them. Mara experienced those changes that we made for Rome Right. Those companies are no longer honoring this stuff while the coronavirus, because it pays back money to people for your trip. It depends on the set benefit. It could be 80%, 75% of your trip refunded back to you once you put a claim in. So we pretty much cover everything you possibly could experience on your trip. And we try to package those up into products that customers can come in, quote, book, and purchase and go out. Some plans we have are annual plans, like the Cook plans. You'll see those, and we cover those as well. Dan sells a lot of that. And we try to, I think Dan tries to keep a portfolio of plans that, that are always the tops in their sales, and then he's always trying to tweak them to see, do we need different states, and that's what we're finding out now over the last 4 years, that most of the plans were all just all inclusive on everything. Now they have pretty much just broken themselves up by state, and so now different states are honoring different types of add-ons, where in Texas you can't get rental car, in New York you can. So we are finding out a lot of that about the companies and the different carriers, and just a whole host of new changes that are just coming out. So they're still doing those changes. There's still plans that are still defining what their coverage is going to be. But that's where we are in terms of the plans that we cover. So we cover a lot of them. They can go deep and broad if you want to get into like what cancer for any reason covers. Does it cover your, anything that you have? But it's best to look at our site, because Dan has detail, and then we pretty much just give you a selection of products that kind of underline those types of plans or protections that you're looking for. So that's pretty much what we do there. I just implore you to go out to the site. You can see we have everything that's there from the providers, and you can look down and drill down into the providers and see. And all of this stuff, the companies, the carriers, they provide us with documentation, which is housed on the mirror side, which gives you detailed, in-depth, what the coverages are, who's the underwriter. Sometimes we have to change that stuff out, but they keep it to a minimum. But this is pretty much a standard in the industry of how they are going to present their plans and what the customers want. So this pretty much what Dan pretty much has of carry. We try to keep a stable of the top plans. So, and anything else, I can answer any questions you have on types of plans if need be.